we are getting comfortable and we're going to talk about books. If you're in need of a good book, these are 5 unique books that I read recently and that I highly recommend. And there is something for everyone in here. The first book I have here is extremely popular. Some people consider it a new classic, and it is The Book Thief. The Book Thief follows a young girl, Liesel, as she moves into a poor neighborhood in Germany during the years of the war, and it essentially follows her journey throughout the war and what happens to her neighborhood. The story is narrated through Death. Death is the narrator, and it's such an incredible story. All the characters are so unique. Sometimes I find in underdeveloped stories that a lot of the characters are just the same person in different fonts. Like they're just small town neighbors and like they have the same life and they have the same personalities. But this book does a really good job of such vivid characters, each so unique, each so real, like they feel like they could be real people. Markus Zusak, the author of this book, does a really good job at keeping it really entertaining. It was one of those books that I just couldn't put down. I wanted to know what happens next, even if the narrator sometimes says certain things that are going to happen in the future. The way it's written is it keeps you entertained, it keeps you engaged. One of the main themes that I got from this book is that in war, everybody loses. There are no winners. And it shows the life of this neighborhood in Germany. And even though the Germans are the bad guys, it brings to life that, again, nobody in war wins. So what happens to this neighborhood when they're confronted with their beliefs, when they're confronted with war? You know, how do humans react when they're in such a predicament where their country's at war, but they're also against the war? But if they go against the war and they speak up against this war, there could be really grave consequences. It's obviously set in war, so it's a heavier topic, but it's not meant to emotionally burden you until the end. But reading this, you'll remember what the power of literature is and what it can do for people. Okay, for my next book, we're going to do a total 180 and we're going to go into cowboy smut. It's not actually smut, but we're going to talk about Wild and Wrangled, and it's a novel from the Rebel Blue Ranch series, and it's totally different from The Book Thief, not even in the same stratosphere. But if you just need something that is fun, that is lighthearted, that you can just chill and read this, you're not going to be too emotionally distraught, but you're just going to have fun reading it, this book is for you. This is the 4th book in the series, and the reason I'm talking about this one and not all the other 3 is because it's the best one. I think it has the most developed characters. The characters are more unique. The characters bring a unique perspective. They're not just like the head rancher and like the sister, or like, the head rancher and like the sister's best friend, or the sister falls in love with her brother's best friend. Anyways, it brings a more outsider perspective. It's just fun. The story follows Cam and Dusty. It goes back and forth between the past when they were teenagers and they fell in love, and then something happened, right? Something happened, the reason that they broke up, and the present when they're unveiling what happened, and now they have to live close by together, right? They have to live as neighbors. And I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder what happens when you're reading a romance book and your high school sweetheart lives right next door. So these books, I will admit, they're definitely a bit predictable. The plot is simple. You're never going to read something and something bad is going to happen. It's very much a feel-good book, and I am all for it, okay? I'm not here saying you need to be reading deep, dark literature all the time. You can have fun reading. We can all have fun reading. We can enjoy ourselves, and we can laugh, and we can giggle, and we can kick our feet. And that's why I recommend this one. If you're just looking for something fun, read it. Read the whole series and especially wait till the last one, because I think the last one is the best. The next book that I highly recommend is Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. And this is a science fiction book that follows Charlie Gordon, who has an intellectual disability, and he undergoes a surgery to increase his IQ. This surgery was first done on a rat called Algernon, so Charlie can sort of predict his future and what's going to happen to him post-surgery while seeing this rat develop further. This is an incredible story about being a human being, the way that human beings treat each other. It follows Charlie's mental and emotional state as his intelligence increases and he's learning more about the world. He's learning more about people, about how the way people have treated him when his IQ was lower. Charlie is also reacting to Algernon's intelligence decreasing, and Charlie realizing that that could be happening to him as well. And it is like, you think it's going to be an exploration of human intelligence, but it is such an emotional novel. Like, it is one of the most devastating books I've ever read, and I just highly recommend. It will make you cry. And it's just incredible. It's written through the first person. Charlie is writing reports as part of this study, so you're reading it from his perspective the whole time. You're reading it also, he's writing the story in notes. So you're also learning things through the way that he writes and through his ability to manipulate language. This book is so well done. There's a reason it's a classic. So every once in a while, I venture out into the world of nonfiction, and this time I read On Writing by Stephen King. If you're interested in writing and becoming a writer, I highly recommend this book. It has lots of good advice. It's also an entertaining read. So Stephen King kind of goes through his backstory and how he became a writer. And then he also goes through some basic tips on writing. The only critique I have of this book is that Stephen King says that as baby writers, you should be writing 1,000 words a day. And if you're baby, like if you're just beginning to write and you're just learning how to be creative, that is a lot. That is like I tried to do that and I had a mental breakdown because I just could not keep up with 1,000 words a day, even though I was trying so hard. I was just sitting there on my computer trying to write up a story, and 105 words later, I would have a mental breakdown because I wasn't at 1,000 after my allotted writing time. Okay. Still read this. Take the advice that he has in here because there is lots of good advice. But go at your own pace. At the end of the day, we're not all Stephen King. We're not all going to publish 50 books in our lifetime. And Stephen King says in this book that he's written a book in 5 days. We're not all going to be able to do that. So just try your best and enjoy the process. And the last book I have here, I'm actually not done. I have a pretty big part left and I have no idea how it's going to end, but it is the Poisonwood Bible. I want to wrap up this video so I can get back to reading this. This is so good. It is a story about a reverend's family that moves to the Congo as part of their mission. So they move to this tiny little village in the Congo where people live drastically different lives than they're used to. It's told through the perspective of the 4 daughters and the mother, and not through the reverend's perspective. So this is a mix of historical fiction. It's a great character study of different people, and the plot is incredible. They tell you early on that something's gonna happen, but you're just waiting for it to happen. If I had one critique, is that the first about 200 pages are purely world building. So it took a little bit for me to get into it. After 200 pages, it was like boop, 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 and the plot just was really intense. But the first 200 pages were a bit slow. It wasn't slow enough to give up. I kept reading it, and I'm glad I did because it is really, really good. Somebody who's getting into writing and who wants to write more stories, writing 200 pages of world building and still making it entertaining is incredible. That's an incredible feat. I don't even know how to put 200 words on a paper sometimes, you know? So Barbara Kingsolver, the level of writing that Barbara Kingsolver displays here is incredible. She is so talented. Books like this, where you have a lot of drama between characters, between the family members, between the family and the people in the tribe, but you also have this backdrop where a lot of things are happening politically in Congo and in America and between Congo and America, and it creates a lot of tension. So you have these two things going on at the same time. It's a really fascinating way to tell a story, and I highly recommend this one. I'll get back to you what I think about the ending, but I'm recommending it to you without even finishing it. So that's a good sign. If there's any video that describes my book type, it's this one. You have a cowboy romance, you have some classic literature, you have a nonfiction on writing. I just read widely, as they say, and don't forget to include romance in that sentence. I hope you grab one of these and enjoy it. I'm going to finish this hopefully soon. It has been taking me a bit to finish this one, but that's what I'm going to finish with, and I hope you grab one of these. Thanks for watching, and if you want more book recommendations, subscribe to my channel.